So now I want to talk about, understanding that trading is a competition, okay? It's not, we're buddies holding hands, let's go skip down the road and day trade stocks, okay? We can walk down the same road if we want, but at the end of the day, whoever's on that street, we're all competing against each other. So everyone in my chat room, we're all competing against each other. Me and Mike running Foos TV every day together, we're competing against each other. So you have to understand that, okay? This isn't a buddy-buddy system. You obviously can all trade on the same stocks, but at the end of the day, we're all competing for better prices, and a lot of times, due to liquidity, there's only a limited amount of shares at these prices. So you have to understand that day trading is a competition at the end of the day. We all need to look out for, number one, for ourselves at the end of every trading day, okay? You can obviously trade the same stocks, but you just understand that this is a competition, guys. This isn't like a team gameplay thing. It is. I'm trying to help you guys learn how to trade, which brings me into why we focus on actually teaching you guys. So a lot of people come into my chat room and think, hey Foos, I'm just gonna follow you on Foos TV. I don't need the training. I'm just gonna follow you. Okay, it's cool, right? I can do that. That works. Like, no, not at all, okay? So you cannot follow anybody in trading. If you think you're gonna mirror somebody's trades, you're gonna find out the hard way really, really quick that that's not how this game works, okay? I'm gonna be there before you, and I'm gonna be out of there while you're still in. You're gonna be 3 steps behind the game. Does that sound like a fair competition? Okay, because this is a competition. So you need to be looking at the exact same stocks that I'm looking at, understand why I'm looking at them, and be able to be sitting there ready on your computer to execute those trades to potentially beat me to it. Potentially beat me to that buy price, potentially beat me to that sell price. Okay, this is a competition, and we all need to understand that we're trading for ourselves, not for anybody else, in order to win, because this is a competition, guys. And that's why I focus again on teaching you guys my strategy, so you understand what's going on. You can't follow my trades. The Foos TV and alerts are basically just for educational purposes only. It's just to show you guys of me actually utilizing the things that I'm teaching you in a real world system to make money day trading stocks. Next, I want to talk about, finding your trading edge or your niche in the market. So, I wrote a book on the one thing. That's what it's called. It's called The One Thing. And especially it's about prioritizing your life to what's the most important thing you could be doing today, or what's the main priority that can excel you in life. And that kind of, correlates with trading, okay? It's basically just talking a lot about how, you can multitask a lot of bullshit and be so-so at it, or you can focus on one thing and absolutely crush it at it. And that's, also goes into trading. Obviously you can buy, short, sell, whatever. So I buy stocks, I go long, and I also go short stocks. For a while, all I did was go long, and I eventually started shorting. So now I'm kind of a two-trick pony, okay? So it's kind of in the same genre, but a lot of people, always ask me about options or Forex or futures. So I don't want anything to do with that stuff, okay? I stick to with what I'm good at, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do. Because why? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So you gotta find your niche. You gotta find your niche in the stock market, whether it be my strategy or somebody else's. There's a lot of ways to make money in the stock market. This is just for me, the way that I found that works for me. So I found my edge. I found my niche, which is basically small cap stocks under $20 per share, buying on momentum and shorting on momentum as well on the way down. So you gotta find what works for you and stick to it. I don't recommend you go out and try Forex and options and futures and trading cotton or whatever it is, Bitcoins, okay? Find out what you're good at. You can experiment in the beginning, find out what's right for you, what you're actually making money at, and what you are mentally connecting with, and find that edge and actually stick to it, stick with it, and master it. I never think you should just go out and be like, all right, I'm gonna trade Forex at midnight, then I'm gonna wake up and trade stocks in the morning, then I'm gonna trade futures after that, and then options after that, okay? You're gonna half-ass all those things. Find out what you're good at and master it. So I wanna talk now, guys, about taking big losses and how long does it take to actually recover from those. So It really kind of depends on, each individual. How emotionally stable are they? how much personal shit do they got going on. For me, I'm pretty quick at recovering from losses, and let's talk about why. One, I'm a seasoned trader. I've been doing this for 12 years. Two, I've been through the worst financial meltdown possibly of all time in 2008. So I've seen losses, okay? I've seen the entire financial system collapse. I was like right in the heart of it and seeing it happen, okay? It was a very scary time when it was happening. So that, kind of has more, more consciousness of being aware of what can potentially happen. I have a strategy that I truly believe in. I know that if I am thinking clearly and stick to my risk management rules, I will succeed. So this is basically just confidence, guys, okay? So being able to recover from losses is all about having confidence that you can recover from it. So if you don't have a trading system, if you're not confident in your trading system, how are you gonna have confidence to recover from a loss if there's no, there's no outlet? If there's no light at the end of the tunnel, you won't be able to recover. So I am able to recover quickly because I know that my system works if I have the discipline to stick to it. So a lot of times if I have a big loss or if I go on a losing streak, it's because I've lost my way along a path and I just have to regain focus and get back in line and stick down that road. So when do I decide to come back after a major loss? And again, this can be completely different for a lot of other people, whatever stuff they got going on in their lives. A lot of it's just individual situations. How big was the loss? Why did they lose? What rules were they breaking? What happened in their personal life, okay? For me, it's just when can I actually wake up in the day and be prepared and not be thinking about it? That's basically what it comes down to. Until you can get to the point where you're just like, okay, wipe the slate clean, all right, fuck it. I accept it, I lost. Nothing I can do about it now. Bitching, complaining, dwelling on it does nothing, absolutely nothing, guys. So once you get to the point where you just completely accepted that, hey, yeah, I fucked up. I made that loss, it's there. There's nothing I can do about it except for try to make it back. So once you've accepted it, that's when I come back to the table and start trading again once I'm not thinking about it anymore. So that I can just approach that day with the no expectations rule, approach it in presently, not thinking about the past. That's when I come back. So for you guys, however long that takes, I don't know. For me, as an individual, I'm confident in my strategy and I know it works. It's worked for a long time. As long as I stick to the rules of the game, I know I can make that recovery. So you guys got to figure out what works for you. And also, wait until your head's clear. That's basically what it comes down to, is wait till your head's clear until you're not thinking about it. So it's not sitting in front of you, it's behind you. All right, so next, guys, I want to talk about heat of the moment trading. So this can be referred to as revenge trading, heat of the moment trading, whatever you want to call it. Basically, you're in a heightened state of emotion. So think about when something bad happens to you. Think about if somebody's getting in your face or you get punched and all of a sudden you're in a heightened state of emotion and you're ready to react, but you don't really think about what are the consequences of reacting. Say if somebody punches you in the face or they're just talking shit to you and you're also in this heightened state of emotion, and punching them could result in you going to jail. So there's some big consequences to that. So think about how much different your situation or your decision-making process would be if you waited 24 hours before you decided to react. Obviously, you're cooled down, you're not in that heightened state of emotion, you're not in the heat of the moment. So you might make the decision 24 hours from now that you're not gonna punch him in the face and you could avoid going to jail. So this relates to trading in the sense, I call heat of the moment trading or revenge trading. Basically, say you just made a huge loss or you just had a string of losses and it was just a terrible trading day, and in order to make that money back, you might decide, I need to make that money back right now. And this is the absolute worst time to make money back, is when you're in the heat of the moment after sustaining some big losses. For one, you're in a heightened state of emotion, your mental capital is gone, your trading capital is diminished, and you're just not thinking rationally, okay? You're not sitting there with a calm, cool, and collect head. You're now in fear of potentially losing more money, but you're also so pissed off and in this raging heat of the moment, heightened state of emotion that you want that money back now. But you're not thinking about the consequences. Say if you lost $3,000, what if all of a sudden you go in, balls deep to try to swing for the fence to make that money back right now, in this heat of the moment, next thing you know, you're down $6,000, okay? This is the last time you want to try to make money back. If you have some big losses in a day, walk away. The best thing you can do is walk away. You are in the heat of the moment, which is the exact worst time to be trading. Take 24 hours, come back to the next trading day, practice some stress relieving techniques that we have talked about, whatever you need to do to come back the next trading day, or even take a break for a day or two so you can come back and actually think clearly rather than being in the heat of the moment trying to make your money back, because that is the absolute worst time. In Foos 4, I give the analogy of the jetpack. Or say you fall into this huge ditch and you're sitting there and there is this jetpack there that you can get out right now. Okay, you're in the heat of the moment, you're like, screw this, I want to put this jetpack on, I can potentially get out. But you're also running the risk of major consequences, saying potentially dying. Or there's a set of tools there that's going to take some time and patience to build a ladder and actually climb yourself out, and it's going to be a much more reasonable and rational decision. So a lot of people just want to strap on that jetpack and say, fuck it, I'm getting out of here today, but I might die. But because they're not thinking about the consequences. So allowing yourself time to actually think and collect your thoughts and think about the consequences, you're gonna have a much better outcome. So this, in a sense, is heat of the moment. If you're caught in the heat of the moment in trading after some big losses, always take a break, come back, give yourself 24 hours at least, or the next trading day, to try to make your money back. So next up here, guys, I'm pretty sure I had already talked about this, but I'm gonna remind you again, because it's very important, and most people don't understand that this is how trading works. And it's basically that losing money in the stock market is a choice. Again, if you buy into a stock, guys, you can sell it, okay? If you want to push it into a losing position, or it goes into a losing position, you made that choice. You always need to have a stop loss set. The goal as a day trader is to be flat or forward. The only way you can ever blow up your account in trading is by choosing to let that happen, is by choosing not to cut your losses short. Obviously, if you take, 1,000 small losses, you could still blow up your account, but you're gonna have, a lot more chance of blowing up your account if you just don't cut out one big loss and just let one big stock or one big position blow up your entire account, okay? The goal of a trader, first, what I talk about in Foos 4, the original strategy DVD, is, the first step of trading is just learning how to survive. That's a feat in itself. So by taking a bunch of, small losses, even if you do blow your account up, you're letting yourself survive, and you're allowing yourself a lot more time to actually learn this game. So again, you guys, losing money in the stock market is a choice. Every time you buy a stock, if it goes into a losing position, you have the right and choice to sell it. If you let it go into a huge major loss, that is your choice. You chose to do that. So you need to understand that. So that topic of losing money as a choice goes right into bag holding. Okay, so what is a bag holder? Basically, a bag holder is somebody who buys into a stock and they chose to let it go into a huge losing position. And now, so they bought it at $5 and now it's at $2, and they're like, oh man, I can't sell it down here. It's at $2. I need to wait for it to come back up. So this is what you would call a bag holder, okay? So this is like the worst position you can get in. I've been in this position before. I know a lot of people that get into this, especially in the beginning, okay? And again, getting yourself into that position is your choice. You chose to do that, and being a bag holder is kind of like the worst thing you can be in the trading game, all right? So try as hard as you can not to become a bag holder. So one of the biggest questions I get from bag holders is, what should I do? Okay, how do I get out of this position? Man, what do you think about this stock? Can you give me some technical analysis or tips on what's going on with this shit position I'm in? And the best thing you can do, and most people hate to hear, is that they should just get rid of this position. Just call it a day, sell the fucking thing, get rid of it. For starters, having that huge loss in your portfolio and just seeing it every day is something negative. You want to look at your account and either see nothing there, fresh start, or a positive position. If you go to your trading account every day and see this stock that you're down 50% in, that's just gonna be a constant reminder of you're a fucking idiot, okay? And that you chose to make this really dumb decision. So people really don't understand that they have such a greater chance of making that money back by selling this toxic position that they're down and now a bag holder on, and using that capital into a fresh new idea, okay? And so many people have a hard time accepting that big loss. Say if they're down 50, 60, 70%, they're like, man, how can I take this big of a loss? How can I accept this failure? And they just don't understand that this position is a piece of shit, okay? There's so many opportunities every day in the stock market. Your chances of making that money back increase so much by just letting go of that toxic position, which is this, negativity stuck with you in your account. Just let it go and put that capital towards a new, fresh idea and reevaluate, what you did wrong there, and make sure that you don't become a bag holder ever again. Next topic, guys, is understanding that day trading is a very manic, depressive career, okay? So, you can have the best months of trading in your career and you're on cloud nine. What we're talking about here, there's literally no greater feeling. Probably the biggest, manic part of my career was when I had a $70,000 month in March of 2014, I believe. That was my biggest month ever, still to this date. And I was just like, holy shit, I just made $70,000. Literally, I was making like $5,000 to $7,000 per day, every day. It was just like, this is a cakewalk. Every day the money was just coming in, and I never had such a euphoric feeling. I was literally on cloud nine. I went out and bought, my Maserati Gran Turismo MC Sportline. It was just an amazing feat, and just the feeling of being on cloud nine was so amazing. And, not long after that, you just become into a trough, because that peak ends, okay? Cloud nine is not a constant, okay? You have to understand that there is depressing parts in the market where it's just very boring, or you sustain losses. Just like I said, when I was on a down point in my career where I was literally on about a 3-month losing streak, and I ended up, being at rock bottom, and was contacting a trading psychologist that wanted $5,000 to do sessions with me, okay? So you have to understand that, that it's just not just a clean slate like this. But that's what makes it exciting, because you can have peaks, just like I did when I made $70,000 a month. I'm hoping that someday I beat that record and have, double that, $130,000 a month or $100,000 a month, okay? I still think that it's very possible. Just the market conditions were right, and my head was in the right place to make the right bets and make it happen. But I've also had some shitty months where I've just been in the gutter, just like, oh man, I fucking hate trading, okay? So you're gonna have these emotions. It's a very mixed emotion and manic depressive career. And the sooner that you can understand that there is gonna be ups and downs, the sooner your life as a day trader is gonna be easy. Because if you go into this game thinking every day is gonna be great, you're basically setting yourself up for failure. That's why, going into the game with a no expectations rule, not expecting anything from any day, knowing that anything can happen, is going to make your life that much easier as a day trader, okay? So this is trading, guys. It's manic depressive, and you're going to have some peaks where you're like, holy shit, my life is great. I'm on cloud nine. Nobody can stop me. But that does come to an end. You're never gonna be at the peak at all times. There's gonna be waves in this game. And it's really important that you understand that, this is a roller coaster of a career. And the sooner you can accept that, the sooner, you can just, basically what I'm trying to say here is that expect that there are gonna be downtimes in the market and your career as a day trader. And don't let that get to you. Just understand that this is all part of the game. We just try to, have these ups and downs, but we're gonna be slowly moving up on the way, towards the top and continuing to make money. So next topic, guys, I wanna talk about when to call it quits for both a losing and winning day. As I've always talked about, I typically only trade for about an hour and a half for the first 90 minutes. And usually all of my new trades that I start for that day happen with about the first minute to 45 minutes. And, it can go from about an hour and a half to maybe 2 hours in where I'm actually exiting those trades. But if you're sitting there looking for new trades, after the first hour and a half, this is typically, where time is now not on your side. This is getting into the slow market session. This is, after about the first hour and a half, this is the time when you should be actually exiting those positions that you potentially got in this morning. So for me, I don't like to get into that zone, because that's typically where I've always found that my morning profits, if I continue to start to try to find new trades, my morning profits start going down, because all these new trades that I'm finding or trying to find are not ideal setups. They're a lot slower, a lot less predictable, and this is where I get into trouble. So for me, I typically only find my new trades within about the first minute to 45 minutes, and I trade for about 2 hours in, but that last hour to 2 hours of my trading time zone is usually closing out a position. So I never try to look for new opportunities after that. It typically ends in a bad result that sucks for me. So for me on losing days, if I'm down within the first 30 minutes, the probability of me losing on that day is very high, okay? I'll still stick around for about the first hour or so to see if there's any new opportunities. Okay, maybe I can make this money back, and I've done it, plenty of times, but within the first 30 minutes, if I'm already down, the probability is pretty high that today is not working out, and I should probably call it quits. But I usually do stick around for about at least an hour to see if there's any comeback trades or good opportunities setting me up to make a comeback. But if I stick around for an additional hour after already being down that first hour, this is where you can really get yourself into trouble. You're essentially in the heat of the moment trading now, because you've been here for an hour trading, you're at a loss, you're at a heightened state of emotion, your mental capital is gone, your trading capital is gone. You have a much better chance of making that money back, waiting 24 hours, coming back the next day with a fresh set of opportunities at the open, which is, that window of new trades going on, as well as allowing your time, or allowing your mind some time to recover, so you're not in that heat of the moment battle. So for me, if I'm down within the first hour, that basically means that I'm done for the day and I need to wait and come back for the next trading session to try to make that money back. All right, guys, so I just want to talk about how position sizing can affect your trades. We all have that fantasy of, betting the farm on one stock and just making it big and, getting rich quick. But, the bigger you go in a position, the difficulty level of your ability to actually stay disciplined, your strategy increases like 100-fold. So I'm just going to talk about some of the things here that happen when you take a bigger size position. Okay, so say you just took 50% of your account or even more into one sizable position, or you even went on margin to bet huge on a stock. So you just took bigger risk, your brain knows it, your body knows it, you are in a heightened state of fear, and rational thinking can be diminished, okay? So, like when I was in Games and Flicks, okay, I couldn't even think straight because I had my entire account on this one stock. So when you go into these bigger positions, you lose the ability to think rationally because you're in this heightened state of, emotional distress. You're scared of what could potentially happen because your entire account's on the line. So the bigger you go on position sizes, the harder it is to actually focus on how to trade because you're so scared of all the risk you just took. Your losses become big losses much quicker since you're in a sizable position. So, obviously if you have a huge position, if it goes against you just a little bit, you're gonna have this huge amount of capital trading loss. We talk about mental loss, mental capital, and trading capital. If it goes into any sort of little bit of a losing position, being that you bet so big, that's gonna turn into a big capital loss where you're gonna be like, oh shit, you're not gonna be able to focus on what's happening in the chart because this number up here is so big. And that leads into my next topic of trading your profit or loss, or trading the PL rather than trading the chart. So I get caught up in this a lot. So many people get caught up in this. Well, sometimes I even delete or get rid of, when you have your broker, there's a little thing that says PL, and that basically tells you what your profit or loss is on the day. And sometimes people get so caught up and just looking at this number rather than trading the chart. So the bigger position you have in a stock, the more focused you're gonna be over here on this PL number going, oh God, it's $1,000 loss, it's $2,000 loss. But if you actually look at the chart over here, you might still be in a good position. But since you went so heavy on the stock, the stock might still be in a good position, but you have this huge loss over here because you went so big on that position. So the bigger size a position goes, the more you're gonna be trading the PL on your day rather than actually focusing on trading what's happening over here on the chart. Your decision to lock in profits becomes much more difficult again, okay? So same thing as this, your loss gets bigger. You know, a lot of times, sometimes when I go big on positions, on swing trades, I can have a $10,000 profit. And next thing you know, because I'm also kind of, you know, looking at this chart, I'm like, but I see $10,000 over here, but the chart's kind of telling me to sell, or I'm getting greedy thinking I want more. I've given back $10,000 gains plenty of times in my career because the decision to actually lock in those gains becomes much more difficult because you have such a big sizable position. So it's always important, guys, that you're diversifying in your account. If you're trading too big, you're not gonna be able to think clearly and actually trade the chart, and it's gonna be difficult. Sometimes, you know, you're gonna make a big trade, good for you, you're lucky, okay? So it's difficult though. The bigger size you take, the much more difficult it's gonna be to trade. Prepare to be humble, okay? If you slip up by trying to take a huge bet, you're gonna get your ass handed to you, and it's gonna happen quick and swift and fast, and you might even blow up your account. So you guys gotta be prepared for that if you try to step out of the bounds of, you know, staying disciplined and actually diversified and using the proper risk management tools. So this just kind of leads into what happens when you take just small positions, okay? Some of the biggest, most volatile stocks you're gonna see on a day-to-day basis, if you take a sizable position and you're just even slightly wrong, can result in huge losses. And as well, if you take a huge position, you're gonna be freaking out trying to trade this stock because your P&L is gonna be all over the place. You're not even gonna be able to focus on what's happening on the chart. So when you, especially when you're trading extreme volatile stocks, you know, even just trading small 500 to 1,000 shares, when these things are moving $2 to $5 per share, or $2 to $5 in a single day, you can still make good money on these stocks. And in addition to that, you're gonna have a much more calm, cool, and collect state of mind because you're not betting your entire account on this play, okay? So some of the most extreme volatile stocks, even though that fantasy of, oh man, if I would have just bet my entire account on this thing, I could have tripled my account today, okay? You're putting so much stress on yourself and so much risk. Is it worth blowing up your account and having all that emotional distress when you could take a reasonable, sizable position and actually trade this thing how you should be doing it as a day trader? So, you know, position sizing is huge in trading, guys. So the bigger positions you're gonna take, the more risk you're taking, the much more difficult it is gonna be to actually make, you know, the proper decisions when you should be. So smaller decisions or smaller positions, especially on the extreme volatile plays, you're gonna have a much more or much longer term success trading because you're actually, you know, able to make the decisions when you need to rather than focusing on the PL over here when you can actually be focusing on what's happening on the chart.